Hi guys, I did not realize that we had a video post this week, so I am going to rephrase what I had already typed and posted. Um, the three concepts from the text that connect to this week's black and white episode are affirmative action, human capital, and ethnic enclave economy. So the first one I want to bring up is affirmative action. So Bruno mentions affirmative action when he's having a heated discussion with the African American Teacher of the Year, Fernando. They go back and forth discussing how, black people do feel that there's a reason behind why they blame slavery. They were brought here unwillingly and not given the opportunities that some of the other immigrants may have been given. Bruno feels that no matter what, he thinks that as long as you try, you can be successful. Fernando, on the other hand, felt that he had to try even harder. He had to be better than all the white people, and he had to, obtain his master's degree, go to school to receive a higher level of education to be taken seriously. He also feels that he doesn't allow racism to hinder him, but he does realize and understands that it does exist and it does have an effect on people, especially those who do not have a certain level of education. Another point that I wanted to bring up was human capital, and that would be, how Fernando obtained his master's degree, his skill set by being a successful musician, and how he has kind of beat the odds in a sense, where he is more successful than, an unskilled black man who, say, worked in the manufacturing business. So he has beat the odds. Another part that I wanted to bring up was the part where they went to the barbershop. So there was two instances that kind of remind me of what we read in the text, where they said about the ethnic enclave economy, where where the majority of the same ethnicities open up facilities to help their minority group. So in this case, it was a black-owned salon. So in the text, it mentioned a black hair salon owned by black people to help, black women or men with their hair care. So when Nick went to the barbershop, it looked like it was primarily a black barbershop, and the community that it served was black. And they had mentioned, they had a conversation earlier about the use of the word, the N-word, the nigger word, which is completely, the barber was telling him that that Nick needs to realize that word is not okay to be used, especially by other people of other ethnicities, because if you give that word power, then racism will come forward and it will flourish, and you don't want to give a word like that power that was so negative. Also, it was just a tiny tidbit that when Rose was with her poetry group, they mentioned now that she's white, they kind of wish that she could experience like a full day at the salon. Like, if she could only realize what we go through when we spend our whole day at the salon, whether it's getting their hair braided or getting a weave or whatever it may be, she will never have that experience because she is white. It is just interesting how that connected to the economy and how certain businesses focus on a specific ethnicity. The last part that I wanted to mention was when Rose was talking to her poetry group, she mentioned that, or one of the poetry group members mentioned that they will never understand that black people are not like other immigrants. They do not have the same American dream. When other immigrants come to America, it was the American dream, like, I'm coming here to be successful, I have these goals in mind. Black people, on the other hand, were forced to come here unwillingly. They were, placed on the bottom of boats, whether they died, whether they went to the bathroom on themselves, whether they got fed, it didn't really matter. What mattered was that they were here to be a white person's slave. So their culture is defined by their past, their history. And it's important that the Black community sticks together and stands together and shows it has a strong front, a united front, because that's what keeps them strong. And that may be why stereotypes or other things emerge. And that's why, in Nick's case, why his parents and the barber why they wanted him to realize that because you're Black, you need to understand the importance of not giving power to the N-word and not giving other people the power to joke around with you guys, joke around with them. So that's what I have for today. See you guys next week.